Hey friends, welcome back to Cooking with Aditi. We're doing chicken and sausage gumbo today. The recipe is in the description. I baked my chicken for the first time instead of like doing it on the skillet first. And I put it in the refrigerator overnight so the seasonings can set in. So remember, I'm going to use half of this meat for days 5 and 6. So I'm going to take half out with some of this chicken broth and stick this chicken in the freezer. And the rest of it I will use for the gumbo. All right. Today's meal is days 3 and 4. You want to start with a skillet on medium-high heat with a little oil. Your andouille sausage should be sliced, and that packet was just under a pound. I would suggest buying a pound if you can. Slice some of them into disc, and the rest cut the disc in half. That's going to stretch your sausage in your gumbo pot. You want to give it a good stir. Let it cook on each side, brown on each side, and then remove it from the skillet. And I'm placing it on a plate with a paper towel. All right, I'm going to add a little butter to the skillet so that I can get some more flavor into my dish. Let it melt a little bit. Now I'm going to return the partially baked chicken. And I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that I baked the chicken for about 25 minutes. It's not completely done. So about 25 minutes, let it refrigerate. I'm stumbling today, I don't know why. But okay, took it out the refrigerator. I let it sear just a little bit on each side. Now, you see this stuff right here? Some people will pour that out. No, this is what I'm going to use to make some homemade chicken broth. Because if you recall on the $20 grocery challenge, I didn't have enough money to buy any. And I only had one container in my refrigerator. All right, I seared the chicken thighs for about 3 to 5 minutes. Now I'm placing it in that big pot you see there. And now it's time to get the show on the road. I'm adding some more cooking oil. And again, don't worry about the measurements. I will have it listed in the description part of this video. I'm using a flat edge spatula. Some people call it a gumbo spatula. I really don't know the real name of it, but I'm working the skillet trying to get all those crumbs up because that's flavor, and that's going to help lift the flavors up in your roux. My skillet is on medium high right now. All right, I have about 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour, and you see I'm slowly putting it in and I'm whisking as I go. And what I want to do, I want to break up these lumps. And the thing with roux, you have to be very careful. All right, you don't want it lumpy, you don't want it to burn, but you keep working it. It can be intimidating to some, and I used to be afraid to even try this. I would buy my roux in a jar, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I got a little more confidence now. So I make my roux, and hey, this bag is just about empty, so I'm going to add the remaining flour to it. But again, that's roughly about 3/4 of a cup of flour to about 3/4 of a cup of cooking oil total. Work it in, and do not really pay attention to the time here because I did have to edit this. Roux takes a very long time to make, and you don't want to rush it. My whisk is going to help me make sure I get all the fine little lumps out, and the handle broke, so yeah, that's home cooking for you, at least in my house. I'm making this with love. Okay, I'm whisking it. Looks like all the lumps are out, but I still want to work it because I want this to turn a nice chocolatey brown. And see how I'm scraping it to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom of the skillet. And that's the thing. If you step away and think you're going to go take a phone call, well, I can almost bet $1,000 you've ruined your gumbo. Do not step away from the skillet. All right. I'll let it simmer just a little bit, maybe 30 seconds, but I'm right back at it. Whisking it. I'm going to speed this up so that you're not just sitting here watching this turn. All right, it's close to the color that I want. I'm whisking. You notice I'm going between the flat edge spatula, gumbo spatula, and the whisk. It's kind of like a paste. Now, I buy this Creole fresh seasoning mix. It has the Trinity with garlic and some spices in it from H-E-B. But when you make gumbo, the 3 vegetables you need to make sure you have: yellow onions, celery, and bell pepper. But this here has those 3 plus green onions and garlic. Again, the recipe is in the description. All right, I've added some chicken broth. Give it a little stir. Now, I'm going to add 3 bay leaves. I don't want too many bay leaves, and I have my seasonings. I'm adding those. Remember, the chicken was already seasoned, and I'm adding this. When I get to the end, I'll do a taste test and add as I need to. All right, it's been simmering now for about 10 minutes. I gave it frequent stirs. Now it's time for me to transition this to the big pot, where I put the chicken in a big pot. I added the sausage. Now I'm adding 2 cups of chicken broth. Put a lid on it and let it simmer for 30 minutes. Now, this is optional. Some people do not put gumbo filet in their gumbo. They leave it on the table and let others do it. I do. I add 1 teaspoon to my pot. All right. And if you notice, I didn't use okra. I didn't have any. And I'm really not big on okra. It doesn't make or break my gumbo. So I add 1 teaspoon of gumbo filet. And this smells really good. And I did notice that I forgot to pull these bay leaves out. So this is a good time to go on and remove your bay leaves. All right. In gumbo, you want it to simmer for about 45 minutes to an hour. Now it's a little oily, and you can see that. And you can skim it off. When you refrigerate it overnight, it's going to solidify, and you can remove some of that. But, oh, let me give you a taste. I wish you could smell this. Oh, yeah. That andouille sausage, that does it. And the flavors. Hit me up in the comments and let me know, what did you think of this video? Peace.